Uh, Starting on my second part, I'm going to go over how to put a bevel on. Uh, Last time we left you with the rough cut. Uh, Today, taking the knife, putting a bevel on it. I took a little more material off like I said I was going to do last time. Now I'm going to put a bevel on. A couple of things I'm going to use for that is my belt sander, it's 80 grit sandpaper, and a bench grinder. I'm going to put a grinding wheel on my bench grinder, take it down. Don't do a lot with the bench grinder. It takes a lot of material off quick, but it isn't very good at any fine details. So I'm going to take some off with the grinder, but I'm not going to go to a point with it. And then I'll check in after I do that. So here it is, just with a real rough bevel put on. You can see how the bevel line kind of moves around a lot. It's just because this belt grinder just isn't precise. So I didn't even come close to making it into an edge yet. This is just a time-saving measure. I'm gonna go over this bevel with my angle grinder and then move into the sander to make it a lot finer. If this knife wasn't as thick as it is, this is still a real thick knife. I just skip this step, go straight to the sander. I wouldn't even mess around with the bench grinder, but since it's as thick as it is, I'd be sanding on it forever. So I'm gonna hit it with the angle grinder, and then I'm gonna move to the sander, and I'll check back in. So here it is with the bevel. That is starting out with the bench grinder, moving to the 80 grit grinder. I did a little work with a shoot, the word's escaping me. A drum sander, thank you. Started with the 80 grit belt sander, then I moved to a drum sander, and then I finished it off with a 120 grit 1-inch belt sander. So now at this point the metal here is still soft, even though it looks like a real knife and a good knife. Second this hits anything hard or does any kind of cutting, it's just gonna turn into dull. I could drill a hole right through this, and I'm gonna have to drill some holes for the handle. After that we're gonna heat treat it, but that'll be another series. This work right here took me about 35-45 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, but it's the finish work and getting everything nice and pretty that takes the longest. I'm going to clean up the handle a little bit. Not that the handle has to be too clean because it's going to be covered with wood, and I've noticed when I've spent too much time polishing up the handle that the epoxy doesn't even stick very well, so it's kind of counterproductive. But I'm going to clean up these edges here because they aren't covered in wood. Do a little more work off camera, but basically that's it for the bevel. It's starting to look like a knife now. See you next time.